Hello, my name is Emma Nagle and welcome to IrishRacing.com. This week we have got an interview with Paddy Flood. Paddy is a jockey's coach at Race and he's going to talk us through some of the new whip restrictions that have come in just before Cheltenham. So Paddy, you've met a few jockeys, you were telling me, what's the kind of feeling around the country with regards to the new rules coming in at this kind of timing?
I suppose what you touched on there is timing. It is the timing of the rules. Me personally, and I think a few of the other guys are the same, that nothing too drastic because I'm not too sure there is this big outcry that's made out to be that there is. But look, we're all in favour of um, horse welfare, obviously, but it's just the timing of it. It doesn't really make any sense.
And I suppose a lot of people mightn't fully understand the rules that have come into place. So you did a few videos in the simulators. You might just have a look at those now and just see kind of the new. It's kind of a new swing of the whip. It's kind of probably the hardest part for the jockeys. Is it? Do you think?
Yeah, well, I suppose the main thing I'm seeing with the guys is landing a little bit short of the hind quarter of the horse. And that's probably from putting a bit of too much power into the whip and trying to hit the horse a little bit too hard. Um, but look, it is a jump race. It's not a flat race. Ryan Moore, William Buick, them boys are spot on with their whip every time, but they're always above the horse's wither, up on their neck, squeezing them forward. They don't have to contend with a fence. Your horse will be unbalanced, and you're trying to get a strike into him to maybe just straighten him up. None of that is kind of really taken into account. Like if you hit a horse in the incorrect place once, it's 4 days suspension, and it's very hard to be perfect with the whip in a jumps race. But I mean, with the pro cushion now, it's just look, the rules have to be changed. That's fine, but the penalties just don't match the crime, Emma.
Yeah, we'll have a look at one of the clips that you sent through on the simulator just to give us an idea.
What we'll do is really get them shoulders down and roll forward. Get your weight a little bit more forward. Good. From now on, you can't sit back in the saddle and hit. You've got to stay right up the neck. Get out the whip there now. Good. Good. And put it away. Put it in the left. Keep them shoulders down there, Josh, and roll forward. Good. Right, give him a slap there to the left. Good. Good, that's right around the rump. Very good. Put it away now, just pump.
So you can kind of see in the video, you're kind of focusing on getting them to go more forward. How hard do you think it will be for a jockey who's been riding kind of the same style for maybe 10, 15, 20 years to change that kind of in such a short space of time?
Well, that there lies the problem, Emma. That's young Josh Halford there. He's young, he's fresh, he's been taught on the simulator and hit his horse around the tail and around the rump. But you've got guys who are riding, 10, 15, some of them 20 years, who they're not. If I could give Davy Russell an example, he's not a whip jockey, but when he goes for the whip, there's a reason for it. He'll get his horse running flat out with his hands and heels, and we use the whip to keep them flat out. They want to give up on you, but like Davy's not used. Might just hit him one or two slaps. Not going to hurt the horse. Just encourage him, but he mightn't just catch him perfectly, and it could end up with 10 or 18 days out of it. It just doesn't make sense. But like I said, the older guys are really going to struggle to bet in that quick because you've basically it's like a football player telling them, shoot with your right foot, but now in the next match you can't actually touch the ball with the right foot. You have to do everything with your left. It's just the wrong time of the year to be bringing them in. It's probably messing. And I suppose the silence from the BHA is deafening. Because Where they pull these penalties out, I don't know. It's like just someone just decided, oh, sure, look, we'll just double everything and see what happens. Um, Look, I'm all for lads getting better with the whip and hitting them in the right spots, and all of that. Encourage the horse properly and not abuse the horse. But even if you turn your body slightly now while hitting a horse, they're going to say that's excessive force. But I mean, unless you mark the horse, it's not excessive force, but it's deemed about. And then again, you could go and win a Gold Cup and go 4 strikes over, and you won't know for maybe a week or so if you're going to actually keep that race or not. Where's the sense in that? Because Cheltenham should be all about the best horses, the best riders. Front page news should be just the horses, and it's not. It's a whip, and I don't know what to say about it. It's just it's a bit stupid in my opinion.
Yeah, I can kind of get from you there. You're not totally against the change to the rules, but like we've seen them being amended already. Is it just maybe that it wasn't well thought out enough, the whole process of it?
I'm very happy with to change the whip style. I've rolled around the world. I've been to Australia, seen their whip changes. Yeah, look, for me, if you strike a horse down the ribs, if you strike him really hard, he'll curl up underneath you rather than stretch. So you're trying to hit that big muscle around his back end, and it's only the noise off the muscle. You're not hurting the horse. It's the crack you get off the cracking noise you get off the forward and running to his 100% ability. So I'm happy for 7 strikes, fine. Hitting them in the right spot, fine. All that's fine. But there is just penalties in there that are just so random and don't make sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we have another clip that you sent in to watch as well, if we can get that up.
Basically, a lot of the problem is the height of the whip. So if the guys are nice and neat and they're down low, and you bring your hand to here, you're too high. Once you're above the helmet, you're too high. Also, one of the most common problems is we see lads landing short. So down the flank and the rib cage, and the suspensions for that are pretty high. So what we're trying to teach is not to hit the horse from here with lots of power, so don't bring it up too high and come too short. So what guys have got to probably do now is get the whip away from their body a bit more, stretch, and when you're hitting, you have to hit with the full length of your arm back around the rump. So the problem a lot of the guys have is if you're getting tired, your weight gets back in the saddle, you're tending just to strike straight down. And with the new penalties, I mean, you're going to get a big holiday. So what we're trying to teach them is forward, and when they're hitting, hit from back here, right back on the rump of the horse. So try not to hit them from here, because if you hit from here, you have to go up and straight down. But if you're swinging forward and you're coming back, it's full length of your arm. So these are the things the guys are working on at the minute. So again, you probably have to come wider with the whip, because if you have it tighter, you don't get as much of a swing, and then you're coming down and hitting them on the flank. So if you get it out from your body a bit, get a big wave on it, and you've got to strike your horse from here, this height. So it's more of a wrist action to get it right back around the rump.
It's kind of just a great explanation of what you were saying there a minute ago, I suppose. And can you see lads riding in Ireland at the moment kind of practicing that on the track? Can you see that watching racing yourself?
Um, there is some guys who are very good with the whip and won't need any tuition. But I think I did reach out to a few guys, when it was being suggested that there was going to be big penalties, and there wasn't much jump at the thought of coming and doing a bit of work in a simulator. But I think when they released the bans, all of a sudden I think guys went, oh, maybe we should do it. 4 or 5 guys come to me last week, coming again next week, just really working on it. I think when we did a bit of work in the simulator and just got them hitting it the way they were hitting it, and I watched, and I'm just saying, well, you're probably going to get 21 days, and you're going to get 15 and you're going to get 4, and all of a sudden it was a shock, so they're coming back again, and to be fair to them, they are trying, but it's basically changing. A whip is a skill. We might have just lost sight of it a little bit in Ireland, that we changed the number of strikes and stuff, but we haven't been proactive as England, whether that's good or bad. But I think striking a horse in the right place is number one, really. But if you tend to miss them, if you were off balance or the horse needed straightening out and needed to change leg, even for safety, you're going to get done for that, which I don't think you should. But they are trying. They're going to try, but there will be a lot of suspensions. I'm pretty sure of it. It's just anyway either. So you're completely focused on riding in the race, riding your horse, keeping everything right. Even with your family and stuff there, it's not nice to be there with a jockey when they're riding in Cheltenham. It's such high pressure. And then you throw this into the mix. You're just scrambling guys' brains, really. You've enough to take in as it is. But if they'd have done it, middle of the summer, after all these big meetings, perfectly fine. Because I don't think if the rules were there last year or anybody else.
Yeah, so it's timing is the main thing for you. So, and can you ever see these rules kind of something similar being brought in Ireland, a change to the whole thing here?
I presume they will, Emma. Like everything tends to filter this way. If we look at Germany, they're only 3 strikes. France were 4 strikes. Um, England gone to 7. Ireland at 8. I don't know where it's going to end. Who are we pondering to? If we get rid of the whip, then people who aren't happy with the whip, will they go and spend their money at the race meeting? Either jump onto the jumps are too high, or 2-year-olds are too young to be racing. I just think, look, if they change these changes, okay, but look at the penalties. The penalties shouldn't be that severe, and all it's going to be is more headlines and more headlines about penalties for hitting horses, penalties for striking horses, where it should be a superstar wins a race.
Yeah, look, thanks very much for your time, Paddy. The videos were very brilliant, education, I suppose, for a lot of people. So thanks again.
Okay.